All right, come join Kyle, John, and David as they go through what's on the playlist. Find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest. In and out points, no celebs and the gossip. Back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue. Quick checks, who'll be laughing? You abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy's 12th annual Oscar prediction podcast. We can hear who's going to win at the 95th Academy Awards from way too many hosts with hopefully different predictions this year. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is...
John Berwick, and a third one is...
Kyle Bridger. I would say that we have the men talking here. And I would say that we are the Top Gun to the Triangle of Sadness. Over on the other side. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
Well, this is the good, the bad, the watchable, and the first host, Nick Boyle here.
Coming in at first mate, Marc DeSisto.
And coming up as the pool boy, Nick Rojas here. What's up, guys?
Oh my goodness, what are we doing? We got 6 guys here, 2 podcasts, 3 from each. So many numbers tonight. We're going to be crunching the numbers. We're going to be trying to predict the very unpredictable Academy Awards. That's the goal tonight. It's our annual Oscar prediction special. And we're going to try to predict the 95th Academy Awards, which are going to take place Sunday, March 12th on ABC. And it's our 6th annual prediction bet against this group, the good, the bad, and the watchable. And these things, while often close, we do have 5 wins over you guys.
No, it's already gotten to 5?
We're
Well, or is it 4 and 5?
yeah, I guess that is true.
I've only lost 4 times.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats.
Do we get 5 timers jackets or anything like that? You know, could we be wearing those? But do you think this is your guys' year? Do you think you can finally do it in year 6?
No, not a shot. And we're trying our best to win, and I just know we're going to come up short again. You guys are so inside my head when it comes to making these predictions. It's unbelievable.
I had so much more confidence yesterday morning. I was all set, ready to go, and then the SAG Awards happened last night and threw everything out. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I really think it's going to be like unlike other years, and we'll actually have different predictions. It's a wild time. Yeah, like the SAG Awards were last night. The PGAs, the Producers Guild, were also this past weekend. And final voting hasn't even happened yet. Final voting starts on Thursday, so a lot could change. We could be already outdated by all this before the Oscar voting even starts. But the plan tonight is we are live on Twitch. And John is directing a video show that you'll be able to watch on YouTube for playback. And tonight we're predicting the top 8 awards. And the rest of the awards we're predicting, you can find those in special social media posts. They'll also be on like the ballot we release on Twitter and on dualredundancy.com. But tonight's the top 8, and there's going to be 2 points for a will win and 1 point for a dark horse. So it could, throw some things there, make some odd numbers in there if your dark horse wins. But all right, the loser of this has to watch, at least what we've been doing, a Razzie film. You guys have seen some classics like Gotti, Hillbilly Elegy, Dear Evan Hansen. I think Boyle, I think you saw the Emoji Movie.
Which wasn't bad. I will say, out of all the movies, that has not. If I had to rank them all, Emoji Movie might have been the best
of the worst.
I'm just saying.
We got to figure out this year. Yeah. I mean, you guys have already seen the Razzie nom Morbius, and we've all seen Elvis, which is nominated for some other Razzies along the way. What do we go with here? I mean, there's Blonde, which leads with 8 nominations. It's also Oscar nominated. There's Pinocchio, not the Guillermo del Toro one that could be winning the animated feature Oscar. It's the Robert Zemeckis Disney Plus one with Elvis star Tom Hanks. That's the Pinocchio we might have to watch. Any initial thoughts? What we want to do?
I say the King's Daughter. The thing about this punishment is, it can't be convenient for the loser.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where
That is
The
true.
King's Daughter would be streaming. Like, come on, if I had to pop on Disney Plus, what's the harm in that? I can just roll over and do it. No, we got to. This comes back to when me, Mark, and Boyle were watching it at Mark's previous place back in Bristol. Mark, remember we watched Cats and we had to find
God,
like
Cats, yeah, that was another one.
the most I-word illegal stream of all time to find Cats that had like Russian pop-ups coming up like every 5 minutes for gambling.
Yeah, because we said, we were like, I'm not giving this movie my money. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
We refused, and we paid the iron price for it, honestly. So my vote is for The King's Daughter, but I mean, I know I'm picking my own fate here, so whatever we decide.
The King's Daughter does look just putrid.
Yeah, I just want to
Except
say,
it is convenient. It's on Prime Video.
oh, the guy who directed The King's Daughter, the movie came out. I mean, it's up for Razzies this year. He's already directed 2 other features since then. Like, how is that
Jeez,
possible?
that's a productive guy right there.
Yeah, he's
Probably
really
some quality
taking his
stuff.
time.
I think just because like I'd never heard of The King's Daughter, my vote is between either Blonde or Pinocchio, just because it's like I think people would actually care to hear those reviews. But
If that's the case, then we got to go Pinocchio, because I think Blonde is like technically like a crime.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like
Forced to watch it, yeah.
Pinocchio does have a 29% critics rating and then a 28% audience rating. Usually the audience is higher than the critics, but not this time. So, okay. If something else comes up, we can change it. But right now it's Pinocchio on Disney Plus. That is the punishment. It's not going to be us, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter.
this stinks.
All right. So we're going to jump right into it here. And last year we had, some special guests read off the nominees, and we wanted to do the same this year. This year at the Oscars nomination morning, they had Riz Ahmed and Megan star Allison Williams. They announced the nominees together, and we were lucky enough this year to have the daughter of ChatGPT and Megan's own sister, Sammy, ready to read off the nominees. So start off with original screenplay. What are the nominees?
The films nominated for Best Original Screenplay are The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness.
All right. Thank you, Sammy. That is our friend tonight. Hopefully not a killer, but we shall see. All right. Original screenplay. Who wants to start off? I think we should start off, Kyle. They're the guests. What is our Will Win and Dark Horse for original screenplay?
So, original screenplay, our Dark Horse is Everything Everywhere All at Once, and our Will Win is Banshees of Inisherin. So, I like Banshees. I really like both these films, and I would be fine with either of them winning, honestly. I think you have the unique script that was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Just kind of taking on that timelines thing that you see in Marvel movies and kind of turning it on its head. And then Banshees is like a totally different thing where you got like dark humor and some really bad stuff happening, but then like you just see this friendship between these two guys and what it turns into, and it's just a weirdly different movie, but I like them both.
Yeah, two of my favorites especially for screenplay. I'm really curious of where you guys are going, because I think it could go either way, and I have my reasoning, which I'll go through throughout the night, of the precursors and stuff like that. But before I get there, what do you guys have for best original screenplay?
I can literally see Rojas like doing this. Like, he's so excited right now, and I'll tell you why. Go ahead, Rojas.
I can't believe we're already split, because I feel like we already make the same choices,
right? Like
right off the bat on the first one, we have our Dark Horses, The Banshees of Inisherin, and our Will Win as Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah,
there we go. We got conflict here. No, I mean, look, Kyle said everything that we need to say about these two movies. They're two great movies. I think the thought process behind this, and the WGAs aren't announced until March, next week. But just to kind of put a button on this point here, I feel like the momentum for Everything Everywhere All at Once is just constant through this award season right now, and I just have a feeling it's going to carry its way over the next 2 weeks or so. So
there is a lot of momentum right now for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and like we said, voting hasn't happened yet. I will say the pros and cons of each year. Yeah, Everything Everywhere won the Critics' Choice and is nominated for the WGA, the Writers Guild. Banshees is technically not eligible for that award, and so it's like that's hard to really say. Like if that wins, like well, we haven't seen them really go head to head against each other. And the WGA has been weird. It hasn't been matching right. Like Don't Look Up recently won a WGA. Borat 2 won a WGA. So there's those issues. But for me, what kind of sealed it was Banshees, the writer and the director has been nominated 2 other times before in this category. He won the BAFTA for screenplay, won the Golden Globe. And for the Golden Globes, they do adapted and original together. So it was like the mega screenplay category. So it's like, okay, so he's at least picked up some hardware for the screenplay. But again, I love both these screenplays. Both these films are original films. So I would be happy with either one winning, but for the sake of this bet, I'd be more happy if the Banshees of Inisherin won. So,
and I could definitely see them getting some love in this category.
Yeah, I think this will be the one like it gets the love for is this category.
Yeah.
It might have a weaker night.
Sadly, yeah.
Agreed.
All right, so that's original screenplay. We have to talk about one I think it might be even closer, which we may differ on as well with 2 films, adapted screenplay.
The films nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay are All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery, Living, Top Gun: Maverick, and Women Talking.
All right, guys, where are you going?
All right.
Well,
yep, I'll take it. So we said for our dark horse, All Quiet on the Western Front, and we said for our will win, Women Talking, and this is solely based upon Rojas. So Rojas, take it away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not sure how many awards. I feel like the Oscars the Academy has been spreading the love a lot lately. And I feel like in categories where movies might only win one award, they kind of tend to give it that award. So I have a feeling that Women Talking, their best chance to win an Oscar that night will be in this category. And a lot of this is based on just the way award season has shooken out so far this season. So that's why we went with Women Talking with the will win. Honestly, have no feel for this category whatsoever. It just doesn't feel like Glass Onion, Top Gun Maverick, or Living really have a chance. And that's why it comes down to these 2.
And I think I really liked All Quiet on the Western Front. And I feel like it's definitely, it definitely stands a better chance, but I kind of only agreed with, the team on this one because of that stat, like Nick was just saying about how if they're going to give any acknowledgement to it, then they're going to give it here.
Yeah, retweet what Boyle said.
But we also have, none of us have seen the movie,
exactly.
so who
I
knows?
haven't seen it, but just going through the category, it's like, all right, if it's going to get something, this is probably a good bet to put it on.
Yep. All right. Well, those are the 2 films I was talking about, and we're split again. We have the opposite. We have our will win is All Quiet on the Western Front, and our dark horse was Women Talking. And I went back and forth on this one. I did see the prognosticators have Women Talking higher, but it's so close. And for me, I saw, All Quiet won National Board of Review and won the BAFTA. And BAFTA has been matching up every year since 2017. And this happened last year. And this is what stopped me from going with it. With last year, Coda got the BAFTA, Power of the Dog got the Critics' Choice, the Golden Globe nom, all that stuff. Coda ended up winning screenplay. And this year we have, All Quiet win the BAFTA, Women Talking won the Critics' Choice, Golden Globe nomination. So that's where I'm kind of, will history repeat itself? I'm putting all my eggs in that basket. But I do agree with what Rojas was saying, where it's I think if they're going to win, this is where they're going to win. They're going to spread the love around. I mean, there's only 2 nominations for Women Talking. Picture and screenplay. That's it. Those are the only chances. So that's another reason why I think there's so many other nominations for All Quiet. There's already more love, at least with the Academy there, than because there's multiple nominations. I think. Let's see.
I also feel like just the Oscars loves war movies too.
Yeah.
And so
agreed. Kyle, that was my thing. I would have flipped these. I kind of wish we saw a woman talking first to be able to have that insight, but that's why I felt like that would probably win, because they eat it up. And so do I. I mean, I loved that movie. I was even saying, like, for how long it was, I'd watch it again.
Yeah, Kyle, it was a 5-star film for you.
Yeah, for me, I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
nice.
I think with another thing we could like theorize about, because obviously Academy members get screeners. They can get these films right into their homes easily. But for us, we talked about before the podcast, we're having a hard time getting women talking, whether it's like it was the limited release, the timing when it came out at Christmas made it hard for us to see it in February. It's on like only for purchase now for like $20. So you have to just this past weekend. So it's like very hard to get. All Quiet on the Western Front, it's on Netflix. You can watch it right now. So I think like that also helps where like with just Buzz, where it's got a lot of BAFTA love, but like it's hard to see women talking. And I think that could help us at least a little bit. But again, we have it between those two. And I was going back and forth. So we're on the same page. It's going to be really interesting with these, +2, +1s that we're going to have here. All right. If that wasn't crazy enough for you, it's been a chaotic 24 hours. We had all our picks ready to go, and then the SAG Awards happened last night, the Screen Actors Guild, and made me rethink everything. And we're going to go now into acting. Let's start off with supporting actress.
The nominees for Best Supporting Actress are Angela Bassett, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow, The Whale, Carrie Condon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Hsu, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, so pretty much for me, there's always like two main precursors. There's BAFTA and there's SAG. And this year, none of them match. 0 for 4. They don't match at all. So you're going to be like, are you going all in on BAFTA? Are you going all in on, SAG? This category, I'm going with somebody who didn't get either. So like, it's all over the place.
Good.
But yeah, this category, I will say, it's tough because you got Carrie with a C, you got Jamie Lee, who's all of us, but really it's Angela Bassett did the thing, and that's our will win. Angela Bassett with a dark horse of Jamie Lee Curtis. You guys see what I did there?
Yeah.
All right. So it's not really funny if
I'll take the lead on this one for us.
Okay.
I'll start with our dark horse. We, as a group, decided on Carrie Condon. She was phenomenal in Banshees. She did a great job, but no drum roll needed. I think we're all in agreement here. Angela Bassett did the thing, commanded the screen every minute, every second that she was on screen in Wakanda Forever. I mean, just wow, what a great performance. I'd be shocked to see an upset here. But yeah, Angela Bassett is our outright winner.
Yeah, so we're on the same page with this. And I will say, but yesterday morning, our dark horse was Carrie Condon. So we kind of put the dark horse for Jamie Lee Curtis there, just after the SAG win, which I think was completely unexpected. I was
shocking.
Did not see that coming at all. Carrie Condon won the BAFTA, so I thought, okay, maybe she just got the love because it's kind of a foreign British film that like they picked. Maybe that's the reason she won that one there. But when Jamie Lee Curtis won SAG, that was like, oh, this is now an interesting race. I still think it's Angela Bassett, but it's hard to argue with like the SAG stat where they've only missed 8 out of 28 times. That's 71%. Like they're usually correct 71% of the time. So it's like, well, there's some love there. And then you saw they won 4 SAG awards last night. So it's like, oh, that's what pushed me to have her as my dark horse. But I still think Angela Bassett, like.
You might just want to worry about a vote split though with the Everything Everywhere All at Once women. So that might be the only concern with that. But
yeah, because I could pull up SAG though. I think like SAG had the exact same issue, I believe. Rojas, is that correct? Because I think it was Stephanie and Jamie Lee were both nominated.
I believe so. Yeah. So like you would think that it would split the votes. And that's why it was shocking on a lot of counts because Angela Bassett has won has so much momentum. It seemed like this was one of those categories where it's like, oh, this is Angela Bassett's time. And usually you don't see the steal coming from someone who is also nominated alongside their co-star. And we'll get to a category later on that also has that problem too. But yeah, it was shocking.
I guess my biggest shock for this is that, like, I just rewatched Everything Everywhere All at Once over the weekend, and I don't feel like Jamie Lee Curtis put on a performance to win an award. Like, not for nothing. Like, I mean, it just seemed like a normal character, whereas Carrie Condon, even as a dark horse, like, she did fantastic in that role. But, I mean, obviously, we all know Angela just stole the show during, Wakanda. It honestly, that baffled me when Nick texted us last night. I was like, what? Like, I just watched the movie the night before, and I was like, honestly, like, it just seemed like such a, I don't know, mediocre, really just easy position. Like, she showed up to work, did her job.
All right.
Just saying.
Enough with the Jamie Lee. She's eating too much Activia
She's
to
all
take
of
that
us.
slander from you.
I'm not talking about in all her performances, Nick. I'm talking about in that movie specifically.
But yeah, Angela Bassett, she won the Golden Globe. She won the Critics' Choice. She's been the front runner for a while here, and Critics' Choice has been matching up. Last 15 years, they've only missed it once. So that's a pretty good stat there for her. So it'll be really interesting to see where, I guess, the award goes. But I'm still thinking it's Angela's to lose at this point. So
hard agree.
it would be the first Marvel win, right? Right, Boyle? I think because, I mean, there's been Jokers have won Oscars before, but this would be Marvel's first, like, acting win, right?
Yeah. And honestly, pretty shocking, like, coming from all the movies that we have seen and have come through.
Well, they practically moved that award for Chadwick Boseman to win, and then he didn't win that award.
Technically,
that was something.
for Rainey's Black Bottom, but yes, it would have been like the honorary.
I know. I was just like, wow.
What a moment that was. They literally.
Yeah, we were talking about that actually. Like, that did get brought up.
Not only that, too,
I'll never
but also
forget that.
because Anthony Hopkins wasn't there. So to end on this, like, he can't be with us tonight, but I'll accept this award on his behalf. Good night. It's just like,
yeah. And we're like, what just happened?
What a mistake.
Yeah. No, but I think you're right. It would be the first time Marvel won something. So.
All right. Well. All right. Let's now move to supporting actor and the nominees.
The nominees for Best Supporting Actor are Brendan Gleeson, The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry, Causeway, Judd Hirsch, The Fabelmans, Barry Keoghan, The Banshees of Inisherin, and Ke Huy Quan, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All right, so guys, I'd be pretty shocked if we don't have the same will win, but who do you got?
All right, so for our dark horse, we have Brendan Gleeson from The Banshees of Inisherin, and for our winner, Ke Huy Quan, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. What about you guys?
We match. This is the podcast I remember. Like us matching.
Yep.
Yes, this is.
Yeah.
There we go. The Spider-Man memes. Do we have to get into how Ke Huy Quan is just like a nonstop train force this entire award season? It's really incredible. Honestly, I don't know if we have anything in Hollywood history to match not what the kind of run he's on, but just a career like this where he was in these pop cultural landmarks of the 80s, and then to be gone for, I mean, I know he was an Encino Man and a few other things here, but basically gone from the spotlight for 35 years. Stunt coordinator, yeah. And then all of a sudden this big comeback and he's going to win an Oscar. Like, how incredible is that? And I don't think anybody can say a bad word about him because he just seems like one of the more genuine guys. We haven't even talked about the performance, which real quickly I'll say he had such a difficult task of physical acting, comedic acting, serious acting. He had to do so many different versions of the same character, which was remarkable. So yeah, it's a well-deserved
to
award.
literally see him in the movie, like, be like, put his head down, come up, and then just be in a totally different mindset. Like, that's acting. Like, that's what I was trying to compare, I guess. And the last category is just like, he had to do multiple characters in the movie. He had to do, I mean, his performance was incredible. Like, I loved rewatching this just to watch him. Honestly, he, like, I think stole the show. Like, he got Best Supporting because obviously, she's the lead, but like, I wish he almost got Best Actor nominated because he really, really did a great job in that movie. So
yeah, it's always interesting how they decide when somebody's like lead and supporting. Like, it's like even like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's like Brad Pitt supporting, or even like the Judas and the Black Messiah. It was like, yeah, one is lead, one's supporting. It's like your names are both technically in the title. Like, no, like, that's not how this works.
Great comparison, dude.
But yeah, this is the lock of the night. I mean, I don't want to like, say, oh, place a bet, but yeah, put some money on like this one, and if you get anything, send it to us. But he's literally won everything: Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, SAG, and as you mentioned, it's the comeback story that from Temple of Doom and the Goonies to this. Like, he had the amazing moment at the Golden Globes where he could like literally thank and look over to Steven Spielberg, who was up for like The Fabelmans, and be like, "Thank you, you started this when I was 10 years old." Like, this is insane, the comeback story. And I guess, I'll just say, because I've been saying stats, it is like the weakest of the 4 SAG stats. It's 68%, but that's still pretty strong. I think the reason we went with Brendan Gleeson is it's just the kind of the Banshees love of, the amount of nominations it's got. It's always been second fiddle to Everything Everywhere All at Once this award season. And I just like Brendan Gleeson just as an actor, from Mr. Mercedes to Paddington 2, everything in there. Like, so it'd be nice to see him win. I think because it's like Barry Keoghan like did win the BAFTA, but I just think like, it's one of those like kind of career things, more of the legacy thing for Brendan. I think they would give it to him over more of a newcomer, even though he's had plenty of work. With Barry.
I think like the feel good story for the other guy was that he was even nominated. Like, it was just like to be there. So I think that's kind of his story with that. So I think that's where that would end for him.
Yeah. But yeah, and as we've talked about tonight, I mean, there could be a vote split between the two, but I don't think it matters. I mean, for the two Banshees guys, because it's not going to matter, because I think he's going to win for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So
for sure.
I will say I just rewatched Temple of Doom on Thursday of last week. I've actually been rewatching the Indiana Jones, and I'm like, it was just so great reliving those movies.
Gotta get ready for Dial of Destiny.
Of course, that's why I'm doing it.
All right, we got 2, and these are the more trickier ones, I think. We'll see. Best Actress.
The nominees for Best Actress are Cate Blanchett, Tar; Ana de Armas, Blonde; Andrea Riseborough, To Leslie; Michelle Williams, The Fabelmans; and Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All right, I think, is it our turn, Kyle, to read off?
I guess so.
You want to rip the Band-Aid.
So, this one's a tough one for me because I think it could go the other way. But our dark horse is Cate Blanchett, and our will win is Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, this was another one yesterday. I had this like in cement. Cate Blanchett, you're winning this. You won everything up to like this point: BAFTA, Golden Globe for drama actress, Critics' Choice. I was like, this is it. It's yours. And then SAG. And then Screen Actors Guild last night, that win, that already like viral speech and all those moments. And SAG matches all but 8 times in 28 years, 71%. That's pretty well. So she also won a Golden Globe, National Board of Review. So it's closer than I think we think. But what do you guys have for Best Actress?
Okay, so
go for it, Boyle.
Boys, we're flipped again. Split it up.
Oh,
yep.
Wow.
So
there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Rojas lead with his Tar love. Go ahead, buddy.
I like Tar too.
All right, I like Tar out of anybody on the podcast. Yeah.
I don't want to see
liked it. Thank you guys for having my back here. I don't want to get into like a comparison between two actresses in two complete roles that were asking a lot of them. I'm just going based off how I felt the momentum of award season was going until the massacre that was the SAG Awards of 2023 to all my hopes and dreams. But really, just Cate Blanchett. She's won 2 Oscars before. She's an Academy darling. People love her. She turned in another great performance again this time around, it really feels like she's becoming this generation's Meryl Streep in that
Meryl Streep.
Well, her and Frances McDormand and Meryl Streep too. All right, but you know what I mean. But it just feels like the Tar momentum with her was going pretty well, and then everything everywhere all at once is happening right now, and so you gotta have Michelle Yeoh in the dark horse category just because it's undeniable what's going on. But after last night, this last night was the first time I ever watched the SAG Awards, and ironically enough, it was on Netflix's YouTube channel. The first time that I was able to watch it, and watching it, well, I was just like, "What is happening right now?"
I was going to say too.
I was going to say real quick, John. This race, SAG Awards might be on your Twitch stream next year.
Yeah, I can hope. Looking for extra viewers.
Yeah. Sorry, Boyle. What were you saying?
It's okay. I had to have Rojas. I've been giving Rojas so much, behind the scenes stuff about Tar. Tar is a good movie, and I actually do think that Kate put on an incredible performance and should win this award. So that I do have to, even though I like to give him a hard time, because I explained, like, even though it wasn't my type of movie, I can still acknowledge that it was a very good movie and that she did a performance. And so that's, when we're looking at this category, that's why. And again, kind of like what we were just talking about, I think, you have to give the love to Michelle, but I do think Kate's, stands a really good chance here, and I did really appreciate her performance, in the movie. So just put those two cents.
It's gonna be really tough.
I think this is one of those categories where we're trying to separate like brain and heart here.
Yeah,
I think in our group we really want to see Michelle Yeoh. We want her to win. But we really do think that this just has Cate Blanchett, like, our brain is saying, like, everything in our brain is telling us, like, this is, like, the objective winner, not, like, our subjective opinion. So this is a tough one. Well, we'll see.
It is. I mean,
interested with that category.
Yeah, I as I was saying it, I'm like, it's just like, because Cate Blanchett does a great job in the movie, and they do love her, so it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it might be one of those things. I might have been too reactionary with SAG, but like it's just it's all depending on like the timing of like the voting. Like when is the train like leaving the station? Did Tar leave too early? And now it's like Everything Everywhere All at Once is really picking up the steam with all the other wins, SAG and PGA and DJ, and we'll get to all that later. And it's like, well, Kate has 2 Oscars already. This would be a story in a very historic moment for Michelle. So it's like, where is the tide turning? Where is it going? When's it picking up the right steam at the right time? So it's between these two. I'll be really curious to see where it goes.
The thing is, and how this always happens is like, a train gets rolling with the votes and the awards come in, and it's like, well, it couldn't have been anyone else but them. But like before, you're like, well, we don't know. It could be an Everything Everywhere All at Once night, all night long. I have no idea.
Yeah. But like, what a weird collection for nominees here. It's obviously like the rest of the category. We have Ana de Armas for Blonde, which we talked about is a Razzie leader.
Yeah,
and then
a double nom.
And then we have the whole Andrea Riseborough thing, which we've talked about to death on the podcast for that 2 Leslie nom. It's like, I saw people on Twitter even like, oh, could this be some kind of underdog vote? She's going to get these votes because they didn't like how the Academy investigated her social media campaign, fiasco. And it's like, I don't know. I don't see that even happening, but I don't know if she's 5th. I will say that. I don't know if she was maybe a few weeks ago, but she might not be 5th after this weird campaign cycle. But
Dave, I think for your birthday coming up, I'm gonna get you a cameo from one of the people that did a tweet about Andrea Riseborough, and just have them say what they said in the tweet. Yeah, just want to say, Andrea Riseborough,
what a gem of a performance.
What a gem.
She just knocked me sideways. It's about the most fully committed, emotionally deep performance.
I thought you were going to give me a cameo from the people on our TikTok that were mad at me for picking on Austin Butler's permanent Elvis voice.
Oh, well, that was bound to happen.
We'll get to him in a second, but what were you saying, Rojas?
From?
Oh.
We need a cameo from this guy.
Oh, come on. Get him out of here, wherever he is.
So good.
You can't play that after he leaves the Late Late Show next year.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm gonna hire him to come personally and see you.
Maybe he can read off the
Yes.
nominees.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of time.
All right, get back on track. Rojas, what was I cutting you off for that piece that we had to show on the Twitch stream for some reason?
No, I had nothing to say. It was just I was actually told by the Two Leslie crew to read that statement off, and I got it. So we're good.
Well,
Got to pay the bills.
somehow, I mentioned Austin Butler. Let's talk about it. Best Actor.
The nominees for Best Actor are Austin Butler, Elvis, Colin Farrell, The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser, The Whale, Paul Mescal, Aftersun, and Bill Nye, Living.
All right, you guys get to rip this one off. What do you got?
Go for it, Mark.
All right. I'll gladly take the wheel in this. We're having turmoil in the group with this one. And, part of it is we really want to win the competition this year. And we have to separate, again, just like how I just spoke about this, but who we want to win versus who we believe will win. And I'm going to start with the dark horse. Our close personal friend, Brendan Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
The Whale. Me personally, I really think he deserves Best Actor for this. I think that's a common opinion. I don't find that a very hot take.
Wait, time out.
We changed it.
Oh,
we switched it. We did. We submitted
We
it.
officially switched it last night.
Uh-oh, we got a controversy.
throw it all
Yeah,
out.
we did. We put in the
So
shredder.
are we flipping?
We are flipping.
Yeah,
man.
we're flipping.
Oh,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm proud to announce that our heart pick is going to be our official pick, and then Austin Butler is now our dark horse with
Wow.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm happy we made this switch. this is nice. Again, this is one of those where a total career performance when Brendan Fraser has given all of us collectively, so much joy, just with his performances, whether it's in The Mummy or more recently, if you enjoy Doom Patrol like I do. It's nice to see someone who you're rooting for put out a performance like this. So, and then Austin Butler, honestly, he's showing up big in the awards.
Yeah.
That's coming up. So that's kind of why we're going with it. I didn't think it was that great of a performance. I guess I understand the nominee, but all the results, I guess, are what's shocking to me. So it's kind of hard to deny, the accolades that are racking up. But yeah, those are our picks, guys. And I'm glad that I'm just finding this out for the first time right now. Whoa.
Well,
I loved it. Yeah, this is great.
I appreciate you guys trying to make, big moves to try to win and do something here because, I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't at all because we have the same thing. So here's what happened though. This was a roller coaster the last 2 minutes here because yesterday this was flipped for us as well.
Yeah.
And so when I saw Marc saying, "Oh, the dark horse Brendan Fraser," I'm like, "Oh God, this will be the one. I shouldn't have changed it. Damn it!"
Yeah.
I went all in, and then I was like, "Oh, thank God. At least this one will be an X."
Yeah,
but
in their defense, I had a pretty busy day, so I wasn't really in communication
It's all
with
good.
them. So I must have missed the memo.
Yeah.
Dude, so for us, this was the one, Dave, I was telling you about pre-show when I first hopped on about the feud we were having in the group. And Marc kind of prefaced that already in that they both were like, we got to go. Well, Marc was the deciding factor because Ross was like, data's showing this. Austin Butler's going to take this. And I got that. I said, though, I cannot vote against Brendan. I have had a deep love for this man since George of the
You made a
Jungle.
blood pact. Yep. Yes.
He did the eye watering emoji. He's like, but Brendan.
Dude, I was like, I literally stated in our group chat, I said, I would rather lose to you guys and put him as the will win than to put him as the dark horse and then he wins the award. I would be crushed for my entire life. I would never live this down. So I was like, I would rather lose with him in the will win. But again, I wasn't going to win this battle because Marc was a deciding factor last night. Nope. Brendan Fraser definitely let's put him at the back. And because Austin Butler's got the steam, let's put him forward. And I was just like, I'm never going to live this down. Like, I'm just going to be so sad. So then Nick starts texting us late at night, like, I'm at work, I'm getting out of work, and he's sending like, oh my God, Brendan Fraser just won. And I just start sending all the gifts. You can only imagine all the little innuendo gifts. Like this morning I spent this
innuendo. What? Wait, hang on a second. Back up.
What?
I just totally stuttered over my own words because I'm getting so excited. That's what happened.
You're using different words. I don't think that means what you think.
That's not what I meant. Not what I meant. I was just so excited. I was sending like SpongeBob, like with his like face going up with this huge grin, like good morning, and like all these things. Like,
all right, cut him off.
What?
Okay,
Why?
well, back to because Dave hasn't even talked about the logic behind the pick yet.
Jeez, see,
well,
someone's a little salty.
I'm trying to figure out the logic here because like this was back and forth, and Butler has been picking up a lot of hardware. I mean, BAFTA, Golden Globe for drama, like he's been everywhere promoting and for your consideration everywhere. Brendan Fraser, he got the Critics' Choice, and then it was SAG. SAG was like, all right, now we really got to pay attention here. This is the strongest stat of the 4 acting noms. 22 out of 28 times they matched. That's 79% success rate. They did have some mismatches in the last 6 years. Obviously, we've talked about it. Chadwick Boseman, Anthony Hopkins more recently. But again, what a story. What a comeback story. And Hollywood loves these stories. But the one thing I kept like trying to get out of my head was some kind of like, this is like scenario I play out in my head. This is what I do all day, where Brendan Fraser, Colin Farrell, both great performances, kind of like somehow cancel each other out because there's love for both of them. And then you have this dark horse third candidate come in, Austin Butler, and win the thing. Like, this reminds me so much of 2018 when Rami Malek won over Christian Bale for Vice and Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, and Rami wins for Bohemian Rhapsody. I was like, really? Really? And that's like what, I mean, I will say Austin Butler, I enjoyed his performance more than Rami's in Bohemian Rhapsody of what he did in Elvis. But I just like saw the similar parallels, between that awards race with this one, and I was getting worried. But yeah.
I'm with Mark. I mean, I thought he did well in Elvis, but all the love he's getting, it's so surprising to me. It just feels like it's coming out of nowhere. And I'm like, because the movie itself was very mediocre. Like, it was just okay. So I'm like, where's this love coming from? But he has a huge fan base for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See,
watch out on TikTok.
I think people who actually like have memory of Elvis, I think are appreciating his role and performance
sure.
more than people who just remember like the karaoke version of Elvis because it just feels like another guy being like, oh, here's karaoke Elvis again.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speak for that generation, but I don't know Kyle, like in the fall when it was coming out that like he was up for a bunch of awards and I hadn't seen the movie yet. I was like, really? Like Austin Butler, like Zoe 101 Austin Butler is getting all this love. Like it's shocking. It's genuinely shocking. So I enjoyed the movie though, for the record.
So did I. I actually really liked the movie. Drafted it last year, and I was actually don't wave me off, but I literally said. Nick asked me, hey, do I need to prep going into this movie? Like, what do you think? Like, what's the vibe? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, I had a good time. I like it wasn't, they threw in a couple songs you kind of weren't expecting or never heard. Like, there was just, I thought it was good. Costumes were great. I mean, a lot there. And I do think this hits a certain generation of people, like Nick was saying, that I think is, why it's getting so much, love right now. So.
They do love. I was asking if I could have life portrayals. Obviously with Freddie Mercury, now with Elvis, that's Oscars love that.
I was just asking if I had to be sober or if I could have a cocktail during the movie. That was the prep I was talking about.
I was trying to. I didn't know if you wanted me to say that.
He's like, you got to dress up like Elvis. You got to sing some songs.
Put on your blue suede shoes.
Here's the question: like, is he going to have the voice when he accepts the award? Like, I know we've joked about it.
It's in his
They
DNA.
said he dropped the voice.
But it was like,
Did anybody listen to Marc Maron's podcast today?
I didn't listen to it yet, but because I remember Golden Globes, it was in his DNA. It was irremovable. It's permanent. It's over. But then now, I guess like 3 weeks later, it's gone.
He's trying to shake it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
You could listen to the episode. He's kind of going in and out of it still.
He's putting on a different accent, which is his old accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like he's from Anaheim. But he still kind of sounds southern.
Because we joked about it, like he's gonna be in Dune Part 2. Like he's filming that now. What are you doing in Dune Part 2? Like
Elvis and Dune.
Be awesome.
But all right. Enough of that. We have 2 more tonight, and we're gonna go with director first.
The nominees for Best Director are Martin McDonagh, The Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg, The Fabelmans, Todd Field, Tar, and Ruben Östlund, Triangle of Sadness.
All right. I'd be surprised if we don't have the same Will win. I think we'll match with Dark Horse too. But Kyle, what do we have for Best Director?
So, Best Director, we have our Dark Horse is Steven Spielberg. And our will win is the Daniel brothers.
Well, yeah. I don't know if they're brothers, but yes, the Daniels.
I know. I'm just saying Daniel brothers just to give it some oomph there.
Okay.
But the Daniels.
Look at that still picture. That is amazing.
I know.
It's the same. It's the same for us. We'll just cut to the chase to save some time.
We'll cut to the chase. Same for us.
Yeah. I'm gonna be surprised if it's not them. I mean, we've seen a lot of splits recently, with one getting picture, one getting director. But this year, that train of Everything Everywhere All at Once is just chugging along, and it's just picking up steam right at the right time. And the biggest thing is the Daniels recently won the Directors Guild, and that's a really big one. Those match about 90% of the time. So that's a pretty strong thing. Like, that's the Directors Guild are the people that are voting for Best Director. So of course it usually matches a bit there. They won Critics' Choice. The only thing I could find with Steven Spielberg, actually, I thought he would have won more, but like not much. There was the National Board of Review. I think was it maybe Golden Globe. I can't remember if he won there, but like not too much going for this. I mean, obviously it's a very important film for him, and it's kind of like a career retrospective award. It's about Hollywood. It's about his life. So that's why he's our dark horse there. But it really is the Daniels.
I know Boyle, someone who most recently rewatched Everything Everywhere All at Once. What'd you like the most about the directing in that movie, or the innuendo?
I missed that end part. Sorry about that.
Nothing. I was just asking about the directing.
Yeah. I don't know. All of it. Like, everything was just so
great,
everywhere,
riveting,
and all at once. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the only reason I guess I would speak more Dark Horse, like, only because the Spielberg part's interesting. Like, I feel like we kind of watched his, a little snippet of his life, or what they say, a different portrayal of his life in a way. And that was an interesting, like, a classic movie lover's view. But I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once is just stunning. You just watch it and you're just like, It is a lot to take in, though. And I'm watching it a second time. I thought about that, and had conversation with my girlfriend about that. It was just like, I mean, she was like, if we didn't have the moment to pause, she felt like it was a lot to take in. And I was like, that's a good point, though, because there's just little parts about the explaining that if you're not fully paying attention, like, you might have looked away, you grabbed your pot, whatever it is, you might have lost some because, they kind of explain it really quick. You can kind of get the gist of it as it goes on. But
I think, I'll disagree with that, where I think Everything All at Once was so good. Like, it's with the multiverse theme being thrown in our face in like TV shows, movies a lot. This one, I thought they just crushed it. Like, this was a great execution of the idea, but I think you didn't have to pay like that much attention. Like, I think you could miss some stuff and still get the overall message. Whereas like the Fabelmans, I really think it's something that constitutes like a second or a third watch because so many little details that you may have not picked up on because it's like a lot of visual acting or like how they painted a picture for a scene. So like that's where I'll disagree with you on that, Boyle. I mean, obviously the direction from both these movies would love to if either one won. They both very deserving. The direction was just A plus. I have zero complaints.
I think what's funny is that,
from either.
well, to kind of piggyback on yourself, I think what's interesting is how the multiverse is so well executed. I like that you brought that up. Like even just the scenes of her going back and everything around her is changing, or, you know, all the different universes she goes, like everything's just so well done. And it's like, Marvel's trying to do this in a million movies. They can't nail it. You know, why are all these other things, like they just nailed it in this movie? And
that's my point.
It's such a fraction of the budget too. It's like, I haven't watched it yet, but Quantumanium looks like, we saw the Twitter jokes that it was Spy Kids 3D, like the backgrounds. Like it just looks like, what is this thing we're in? There's no perspective. There's no anything with it, but like Everything Everywhere All at Once, like it just felt like a real world and everything was thought out, and it's just, I don't know. But
and also I was just gonna say that I think what Nick was saying with like the acting, the demands that it put on the actors, it's the same as the directors, and they knocked it out of the park. Like it was demanding in that it had to have heart, and then these fight scenes, and then these crazy, you know, costumes that they're coming up with. All this requires like to have that in order to be able to tell this crazy timeline story, and I think they nailed it perfectly.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking a lot more about this film, I believe, in the final category of the night. Let's just talk about it. Best Picture. The nominees are...
The nominees for Best Picture are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun: Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking.
I just was listening to it. Did it sound like with like Sammy, like she was saying like Elvis? Like it was like there was like a question in there, like the way she said it.
Like really?
This one is in here? Okay. All right. I got a lot of stats I will run through and bore you guys with in a minute. But I know where our will wins are. I'm curious what our dark horses are going to be. I think, guys, tell us, where are you going for Best Picture?
So Best Picture will win Everything Everywhere All at Once. But for the dark horse, The Banshees of Inisherin is what we decided to go with. And I don't know if you boys want to talk about it a little bit. I feel like I just kind of went off on a rant for a while, so...
It was solely based off the sweaters that were in the movie.
Those were nice sweaters.
And it's such a nice, easy movie, and just, I don't know. I love them. I love their chemistry too. Yeah, just two friends.
Easy movie is what I think of when I think of that movie.
Just easy friends, and just don't call, right? Like, leave me alone and stuff.
But we will go in depth on these two films because those are also our will win and dark horse. I got a lot of stuff as to why it's Everything Everywhere All at Once is to lose, but I will say, just off the bat, one of my favorite stats I always say every year is, even though it was broken last year with Coda, usually 95% of the Best Picture winners have a director's nom, 95% have a screenplay nom, 83% have a film editing nom. Last year, it was only Power of the Dog that had it, so it didn't work out for that. But this year, 5 worthy contenders have it for Best Picture. I mean, and 3 of those are 3 I'm going to talk about tonight, including Everything Everywhere All at Once and Banshees. And Everything Everywhere All at Once, I saw it has like the most wins of any film according to Rotten Tomatoes, this year. And they had the most for the Critics' Choice, including Best Picture. But the big thing, which we've been talking about all night, is SAG, is the Screen Actors Guild. The acting branch is the largest branch at the Academy. So like already right there, if the actors love this film, that's going to help it. And it was the first film to ever win 4 awards in one night. It was the first to win 3 individual wins. So the Screen Actors really love this film. I will say in the defense, as a con, SAG doesn't necessarily mean a win, because 13 out of 27 times, That's it. That's what they're right. So it's like we're like half 50%. Like, so they're not always correct. But it one SAG, DGA, nice feather in its cap there. But Producers Guild, that's the big one. That's the huge one because they share the preferential ballot with the Oscars. And in 27 years, only one film has ever won all three of those guilds and then lost Best Picture. And that was 27 years ago with Apollo 13. So that's pretty big. I think sweeping those three guilds, having the producers, directors, and the actors on your side, that's already very helpful. I got more to say, but any comments on that, Rojas?
I mean, yeah, these are some of my favorite parts of us doing this show, Dave, is all the research you put in and all the stats out there. Because, before I really looked into this stuff, when it was like Oscars night, you're kind of like, oh, I kind of like this one. You don't realize like how many awards and guilds are given out before that just kind of like tip the hand a little bit. So if anybody's watching and they do an Oscars pool, pay attention to those kind of like little things here. Like they kind of tip their hand a little bit, but every now and then there are still some surprises on Oscars night. I don't think this is going to be one of them though. I think this is going to be the culmination of a pretty awesome situation. I can't say when was the last time because last year we had an Oscar movie come out way early in the year. I think Coda came out in the spring. Everything Everywhere All at Once went wide, I think last April or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's been zeitgeist, Kyle, for forever, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, the staying power alone, the fact that it feels like it has momentum and it's come out so long ago. It's like, and what's also crazy about this movie is if it wins, I feel like it's way different than a lot of other Oscar films that would win this kind of thing. So I think that right there, those two things, it would be like kind of a momentous win. And I would be happy to see them win. But yeah, I agree with you. The fact that it's just been around forever and people still talk about it, I think shows its importance and I think why it'll win.
And I think like the Producers Guild really shows with that preferential ballot that it is universally liked. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing I was like worried about with this film, if it was going to be divisive. I mean, as Boyle said, there is a lot going on in this film with the multiverse, hot dog fingers, butt plugs. There's a lot happening that could really turn off some older Academy voters. So it's like, it's a lot, but it seems to be universally liked with the PGA. And I will say that is more of an American branch. The international body of voters of the Oscars is a little different. And if you look at BAFTAs, though, it did tie with like the second most nominations with Banshee. So there is love with the BAFTAs. It only won editing, but still, like there's love across the board, across the world, everywhere in the universe for this film. So I think that's very good signs there. One other con I will say, it makes it seem like Marc, he left when I started this rant. There was other discussions going on because now he came back and it's like I'm still talking. But no, there was other stuff going on in between.
I was listening the whole time.
But I will say my last thing for Everything Everywhere at Once, it does have the most Oscar nominations this year with 11, which that sounds good. But we've seen in the last few years most noms.
I was going to say when you said the Apollo 13 stat, I was kind of blown away from that. Like, whoa.
27 years ago.
There's only one movie who, gets hit with that unfortunate stat too. And this one, honestly, is, I guess, just a wide range of appeal like to the audience. I think just the overarching story, just how much pretty much anybody could be in their own head and trying to do everything, for their loved ones, right? And I think it's very relatable in the sense that, you come up with a million different scenarios in your own head, but trying to make it so everything works out in the end, right? And then that's pretty much the most bland description of this movie I could come up with, right? But at the end of the day, that's what it is. Right, trying to solve your immediate problems when it feels like your internal world is facing some impending doom, right? And I think because of that, everybody has experienced that, and with such appeal, like it's kind of a no-brainer that this kind of gets the nod for this category. And that's what my feeling is. It's because a lot of these movies are just just fantastic. These are some great films, but this one, to me, the performances, the directing, the story, and the silliness too. The hot dog fingers, it touches on every emotion. Like it's not too far in one thing. They really do hit everything everywhere.
Yep.
Not all at once, but throughout the course of the movie. That's what I'll say about that. I do think this is a very deserving film. If it should get this award.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. The dark horse of Banshees of Inisherin, I mean, it has a lot of nominations as well. And as I was saying, a lot of nominations don't necessarily translate to wins anymore. Power of the Dog went 1 for 12, Mank 2 for 10 2 years ago, 0 for 10 for The Irishman. So last year, Coda only had 3. But Banshees of Inisherin, we went with the dark horse. It's always been I feel like second fiddle this season to Everything Everywhere All at Once, because everything that film has, they have it slightly better. It's oh, well, we have a little bit more nominations. Oh, we picked up this award. So it's they're always the bridesmaid in this scenario. So it's that's the reason I put it as a dark horse, because it's still a great film. It still has picked up a lot of hardware along the way. It is pretty much, you watch it, I think it's universally liked. I mean, I don't think there's not one, I haven't seen one person say I hate this film. So I think it's a film everyone likes, and it could get that second, third spot on a ballot in the preferential ballot system. But any thoughts on Banshees of Inisherin?
We just recently talked about this on our last show, but honestly, I didn't love it as much as I thought it would. I was a huge fan of In Bruges, so I was kind of expecting much of the same. But for whatever reason, this just it didn't nail it for me. I liked it, but no, it's just it wasn't In Bruges, and I wanted In Bruges.
I like this because it felt like it was. I felt like I was looking on an old Irish story of a small town, because I grew up in a small town, and you just have weird stuff happen. It's well, why is it like that? It's well, it's always been that way. And so I just feel like I was seeing the start of oh, why do John and this guy hate each other? And it's well, I don't know, you just said I hate you one day. And so it's one of those. So I just related to the small town. The locations were crazy, and I thought Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, the performances were enough to kind of grab me. So that's I really liked it.
Yeah, I will say I got a wild card that I almost made a dark horse, and I think it is definitely wild. I'm gonna take it to the danger zone. I was thinking Top Gun Maverick. It could be this surprise third, fourth, because again, it's the preferential ballot. Is there anyone that hates this film? I don't think so. And
he was being told he saved cinema.
Yeah, literally, Steven Spielberg said you saved cinema's ass.
He saved cinema. The least we could do is give him some hardware, right?
It's the biggest movie of 2022. I mean, because Avatar really made its money in 2023. It's this is such a crowd-pleasing movie. It made it in the top 5 for DGA over folks like James Cameron and stuff like that. It's got some Oscar noms, screenplay, editing, sure, the acting noms aren't there, and we it didn't pick up anything for SAG. But still, I think this could be some wild third place thing. I think it's anything can happen. You can't count this film out. This film it just keeps going higher and higher. But
I think you're totally right. You can't count it out, and Tom Cruise is just an undeniable force at this time. If Spielberg says you've saved cinema, high praise.
Yeah. So those were 3 of the films for Best Picture. Real quick, any other thoughts on the other 7 nominees? Anything that you want to hit on? This should have been a contender. This one doesn't have a shot. Anything like that?
Everything we heard last year was that Spielberg's got this movie, Fabelmans. It's about his life, and it felt off last year with West Side Story and how well that was directed. It was all right, I think Spielberg's gonna have a big award-winning season next year, and then just out of nowhere, Everything Everywhere All at Once comes out. Top Gun, the Fabelmans is an afterthought this award season.
Yeah,
and if you told me that 12 months ago, that would be the case. I wouldn't have really believed you, because everybody was saying about how awesome that movie was. But really, that's really my only other outside contender in this category. Really, I don't really think that the remaining movies have a realistic chance at winning.
No. Yeah, I mean,
and to that too, like the Fabelmans is such like a tribute to film itself. Like it might be one of those films that would say, I don't even want the award. This is just for the sake of the art. Like
Spielberg wants he wants one for this one, but yeah. But I agree with what you're saying, Rojas. I feel like the other ones really don't have a shot in there. I mean, you just look at the numbers for nominations. Women Talking with like 2, Avatar like even I think underperformed when it came got like 3 or 4 nominations. I thought it would have cleaned up in the below the line technical categories. Didn't get the love there. So yes, I really think it's like you have like tiers where it's like Everything Everywhere, Banshees, Fabelmans I'll put maybe like in that higher tier in there, then maybe like a Top Gun Maverick, Tar, and then everything. Well, maybe an All Quiet. I'll put that in the middle tier, and then everything else in the bottom. Like, just for awards reasons, not like personal preference. But,
I will. Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
I really we talk about this because Nick has seen. I've been wanting to see this documentary still, but the movie posters, and we talk about this all the time. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once has an incredible movie poster. Let's just point that out. It's fantastic. It's so unique and so much going on. I just want to throw two cents that way. I love that. So.
Meanwhile, Avatar has the classic.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's exactly why. Because I'm looking at the list and you're like, which one doesn't belong? And I'm like, well, is it up there just because of money and box sales? Probably. I
think it's like the first one got so many Oscar noms. This one's gonna get some Oscar noms. But the
original poster, yes, Boyle, I agree with you. But ever since home video release and award season, they went to the big Photoshop people and heads coming out of the heads thing for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But the original poster, awesome. I'm going to put that up in my dorm room this upcoming semester.
Perfect.
I'd love to see what your dorm room would look like at this point with all the posters you would actually have up.
All Jersey Shore.
You don't want that Triangle of Sadness, Triangle of Sadness puking poster there?
Oh, that'd be a good one.
That's hilarious.
That would set up
on the door.
Yeah. That would establish a vibe like, this is what I'm about. Welcome.
All right. That is it, I think, for tonight. For the top 8, we did it. We're going to have some extra Oscar predictions available coming to our YouTube and social media channels. We'll have them on our new TikTok channel. They'll be there. You can watch us on TikTok with some of these extra predictions. Of course, on YouTube, we'll have the full video as well. But man, March is going to be busy for us on the podcast. I was looking, Kyle. Here's just some of the things. We got returning shows like The Mandalorian, Ted Lasso, Succession, Yellow Jackets. We got the premieres of new ones like Swarm and Lucky Hank. We got the finale of The Last of Us. Yeah. That's just March. That's just March. So we got a lot going on, a lot coming up. What do you guys have coming up on Good, Bad, and Watchable? I'm assuming Cocaine Bear has to be on the list.
Mark and I did see that.
Yeah. We saw it, and it was glorious.
there was no false advertising with that movie. Okay,
there was a Cocaine Bear.
Yes, there was, and more. But that will certainly be next. And probably a few other Marvel movies that'll be released between now and our next episode. They're always good for a few. But yeah, GBW Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll update people with what we're doing next.
Awesome. And you can find episodes of our podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doredundancy.com, and of course, Monday nights, we're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/doredundancy. Make sure you're following us on social media to get those extra Oscar predictions, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at doredundancy. I got to thank so many people tonight. Of course, I got to thank the Good and the Bad and the Watchable for taking time out of their day to do this crazy thing every year with me, listen to my rants and stats and all that stuff. I got to thank John for so much graphics work, for directing the show, getting it up on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Oh, and there's Kyle. Of course, Kyle. I got to thank Kyle.
I'm here.
Kyle's here.
I show up.
I couldn't do it without all of you guys, so thank you guys so much for joining me tonight and for doing this. But that's all we got for our Oscar prediction special. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
I'm Kyle Bridger.
I'm Nick Boyle.
I'm Marc DeSisto.
And I'm Nick Rojas.
And that's all we got for Do or Done See. Goodbye, everybody. All right, we did it.